everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I greatly appreciate it. As you can tell, it's another sew along. If you saw my video from last week's Sunday, there was a sew along for the swim gym bag from Sewing Patterns by Mrs. H, so feel free to go check that out if you are so interested. But this week it is a bra. So for those who are new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I greatly appreciate it. And for those who have always been tuned in from week to week, from time to time, I greatly appreciate it. And you already know that I have talked about doing this sew along. It's been several months, but I'm finally getting around to it, mainly because I need new bras. And before anybody asks, my husband asked me the same thing. Why don't you just go buy a bra? Because I want to really perfect my own bra. I really do. I just want to. That's my personal desire. And so yeah, that's what this video is, the sew along for the Pinup Girls Ingrid bra. I will make sure to pop up a picture. And so yeah, lots to go over. So for those who are interested in just the sew along part, go ahead, click the description box down below, the arrow that you see down below this video, and see the timestamps. What you will see are the timestamps for making the bra. The first part of this video is my final review of the Pinup Girls Ingrid bra, and then I will transition, and then you'll have the sew along, and then you can go ahead and follow along for making the bra yourself. So those who are new to the channel, again, welcome, and don't forget to tune in on Wednesday. Coming up on Wednesday is a fun collaboration video I have for you, so you will see what that is and who that is with come Wednesday, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, so the first part of the video won't be as long, but I do want to jump into some resources, some tips, and some different things I wanted to mention just as you're going through the sew along, and hopefully answer any questions that come up. But by all means, if you have any questions, even after watching the sew along or this video, please drop them down below. Just so get it out of the way, what am I wearing? This is one of my DIY head scarves. I do have a separate video on making wrap head scarves, so I'll put that up here in the iCards. You can go watch that if you like. And I am wearing the McCall's, I believe it's 6'9". Oh, what is this? I'll put it on the screen because I can't remember, but I recently made this. Remember, this is that cowl neck. I absolutely love this top, and every time I put it on, I'm like, okay, you really need to find some more knit, because this is a knit cowl neck top, and it's sleeveless, but it also has sleeve options. And also I will say, this is the one that I made. I did a video on this with the review of this top. Love it. I made it with the DIY flat front gathered waistband skirt, and so yeah, super cute. So yeah, go ahead and check out that video too if you are interested. So I want to first thank you all for your patience. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. I know it was several months ago when I talked about my bra plans and everything that I said I would be making this bra. I did make the bra, and I did a review for my first go through of the bra. Again, I'll leave that up here in the iCards if you want to see it. But in that video, I did say, and when I did my bra plans, that I will always do a sew along for this. But I wanted to kind of get used to the, I'm not going to use the word master or or anything, the construction and fit and all of that, but I did want to get as close to that as possible. So when I am doing the sew along, if there is different things I wanted to mention that I did differently, and there is one thing I did differently for this pattern, and so I just want to make sure that I got all of that straight before doing a sew along, because as you all know, sew alongs are a lot of work for the YouTubers that do them. Shout us all out and give us all thumbs up on those sew along videos, because it do take a lot of time, a lot of editing, maybe going back in, fixing some stuff which you will probably see in my sew along where I make a notation on a couple things. But anyway, let's jump right in. The first thing I do highly suggest is that you first watch the sew along all the way through first. And I do pretty much recommend this for any sew along that you watch, whether it be mine or anybody else's, doesn't matter. That's just my personal preference. That's how I learn. I would watch a sew along maybe once, maybe even twice, to take notes and stuff, and then I will have the pattern. Sometimes after I've gone through the sew along and read the pattern, I pretty much understand the words that I'm reading based on what I'm seeing, because I am such a visual learner, huge visual learner. And so for me, especially if the second time I watch it sew along and I'm looking at the instructions while they're talking, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. And then when I do finally make it, then I can just usually watch the sew along pretty good, with maybe peeking at the instructions here and there. So I do highly suggest that you watch the sew along all the way through first, and then, you know, make sure you're all set and good to go. The second thing, let me be very clear. I am not a bra making expert at all. I'm not even a garment making expert at all. I just over time have gotten better at it for garment making, as you all know, have still learning fit, but have gotten really darn good with my fit on clothes. Bra making, I'm still getting there. There are a lot of things I still need to learn and know, and you may even see some things that I do that you're like, oh, why she do that, and da 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 da. That's just the way I did it in this moment. That could change in the future. So keep that in mind. Keep your mind open. It may not be how you would put it together, but this is how I did put this bra together. The other thing I highly suggest, if you are really interested in making bras and understanding kind of the ins and out of bra making, things like that, and you really want to dive deep, pay for a class. Invest in yourself by paying for a class. Pay for the Craftsy class, the Beverly Johnson. I always highly recommend it. I will link to the class below. It's not an affiliate link. I just found when I made my very first bra, doing the Pinup Girls Classic bra, and knowing that class is on Craftsy, I was able to just follow along bit by bit. And plus, she has so much information about the fit, and if it looks like this or feels like that, where you need to pinch out, different things like that. I don't know all of that lingo, so go follow an expert such as Beverly Johnson in her Craftsy class. She has several classes on Craftsy. I also highly recommend Porcelain Patterns. They have a YouTube channel here, and also she actually has a book for bra making, bra construction, how to draft your own bras. And she may have a Facebook group, I can't remember, I don't know, but at any rate, I highly recommend invest in yourself if you really want to know deep stuff, and to really learn all of that. And then there are others on YouTube I recommend also. Mishu, if she watched my channel, sorry if I pronounce her name wrong. Michu makes, she made the Pinup Girls Shelly bra, and so she did that, I can't remember how long ago, could have been 2, 3, 4 years ago. I will link to the part 1 of her sew along down in the description box. So she made the Pinup Girls Shelly bra, so go watch that if you're looking for a different design. Also, my good friend Myra from Myra Lorraine, she made the lingerie, what is it called? Okay, I had to go back and look, but Myra Lorraine made the orange lingerie mystic bra, and so she did a sew along for that. So if that's the type of bra that you like and style, go check out her video. And then of course we all know Liz Sews here on YouTube. Her channel is all about well, at least over the past couple years, she does have earlier videos about clothes and stuff, garment making, but her channel primarily focuses all on lingerie making, so bras and panties, different things of that nature. So those are just some YouTubers that I highly suggest, and there are others. I can't think from the top of my head, but I'm sure in the comments you guys are good about sharing information, so make sure I know I'm forgetting somebody, so make sure you go and follow them for the sew along, so for those different sew alongs. So it was also nice that this sew along coincided with August, which is the annual month that is sponsored by TaylorMade Shop. They host it, and if you follow them over on Instagram, you can actually, is swimwear, activewear, and bra making is the highlight of the month. And you can I don't know if there's prizes or not. I really didn't pay that much attention, but I know that they do August. And so yeah, I'll leave a link down to their Instagram feed, because they are, that's something else I want to mention, resources. Besides those type individuals and people, resources, I have listed in the description box down below where I have personally bought things from that I recommend. So TaylorMade Shop I have purchased from, Bra Maker Supply I have purchased from, Pinup Girls Patterns, which is bra corsets supplies, they're based out of Canada, obviously I purchased from, and then looking at my notes, Stitch Love Studio I have also purchased from. Expressively Me Essentials on Etsy, and I've also purchased from I can't remember, I'm pronouncing her name wrong, Tayash. It's for skin tone colored mesh, and so yes, I have purchased from all of them, and so I will link down to their shops below. One of the things I highly recommend if you are going to make a bra and it's your first time, or maybe it's not your first time but you just don't want to maybe dive in trying to find all the findings and figure all that stuff out, buy a kit. I highly suggest making purchasing a bra making kit. I have purchased, you all know I've made the classic bra, the Pinup Girls classic bra. I've done reviews on that. I will leave that in the iCards, but I've purchased one or two, I think one kit from them, and then for the Ingrid bra I purchased a kit. Did I don't remember, or did I just purchase a pattern? Okay, it's escaping me, but at any rate, because I have so many findings and I have broke everything down and stored it, and I'll show you how that looks in a moment. But buy a kit, and then these websites that I'll be leaving down below, they do offer kits for just findings. So say you don't need maybe the fabrics, the actual materials, but you need the rings, you need the sliders, you need the hook and eyes and different stuff like that. These shops also sell those in kits. Porcelain Supplies, you all know I've made the Christina sports bra. I made several of those, but she also sells kits on her website too for her bra patterns and different things, or just findings kits as well. And so just either get kits if you're not comfortable trying to figure out what it is that you need. You'll get used to what it is that you want as you're playing with them. And so those are just a couple things I wanted to say up front. Now, for me in making bras, my goal, as you all know, is to find the perfect bra. I'm not looking for a lot of bra patterns, which is different for me than garment making. Obviously, I have a ton of garment patterns and handbag patterns, but bras, there's usually only two styles I typically like, and for me, and the reason why I want to make my own is because then I can just make them in a whole bunch of different colors. Once I have a style that I like and the fit that I like, then I can just crank them out in different colors and materials and different stuff like that and play around with it. But I do want a special occasion bra as well. So I do want one like everyday bra style, and then one maybe special occasion bra. And I do have, I'll just say, I'll pop up a picture too. I have the Stitch Love Studio bralette kit for the Daisy, and the Daisy, you will see it has several different design features, variations. It has a bustier style, a one-piece back style, and a long line, like a long line style. So it has like 3 or 4 different styles. And so this actually was sent to me, the kit and the pattern was sent to me by the owner, I want to say last summer, and I never got around to making it. And so now I want to, now that I feel like I won't say good, but there is another bra I want to try, and I'll tell you in a moment. But I do like the Ingrid. I do like it. So let's get into some tips on this here. You will notice as I go through the pattern about cutting out the pieces. I'll go over that in the sew along, so I won't go over that now. However, one of the things I want to point out to you is there is a pattern piece in the Ingrid bra that is marked incorrectly, and it is the I'll put a video here. It is the upper cup. Because of my sizing and what I going through the sizing, I'll go over that in a second. The cup, you will notice on the upper cup piece, the size I end up picking is a size 6.75. And so, but if you go across on the line for 6.75 for that upper cup piece, you'll notice the corner is marked 6.5, and so I just crossed that out and put 6.75. So I just knew that that was an error on the pattern. So if anybody happens to fall in the same size range, just keep a note of that. Is you're not seeing things, it is that piece is marked wrong. And then the other thing I wanted to point out is about your findings. And so for me, I'll just show you real quick. I think I might have gave an update on this, but here's my bucket. You all know how I store my stuff. You've seen my storage, but and it's not the best storage, but it gets me what I need. I put in plastic bags, and I put notes on the front of all of my findings. I used to have all this stuff all in one. It wasn't separated. It was a hot mess. I didn't know what I had, and when I needed something, I will always forget what stuff looked like. And so I put a big old post-it note, wrote on it what is in here. So this is my bra band elastic and mat. I have, you know, like hook and eyes and all of those in here, and then soft plush elastic. So I highly suggest, however your storage situation is set up. For me, that's how I choose to do my findings for my bra stuff. And so you may have storage boxes, you may have a different storage system. Whatever it is, I do highly suggest separating all of that stuff so you know what to grab when you need it. And for me, I just like having it separated in all these bags and labeled, because I leave this by my sewing machine while I'm sewing, and I'll just dig in there for what it is that I need. And that's it. So my final review for the Ingrid is, I do love it now. You all know from my first review that I was like, what the heck, because the by the time the Ingrid came out, I want to say, and Ingrid was in 2018, I believe it was published, but they were doing Beverly Johnson was doing the BCD method. I don't like the BCD method. Does not work for me. And because based on that, I was a size 5.25, and the band was at the underbust band was absolutely perfect, but everything else was way too small, and the straps felt good, but the cups was just way too small. So that is one thing I will say, guys. It is hard to figure out, at least for me, until you get used to it. Again, practice makes perfect. It's hard to figure out the sizing. So what I did is went back to the method from the classic bra, because when the classic bra was done, in those instructions, it tell you to figure out your cup size differently than the BCD method. So I kind of used a combination of both. I knew that 36 band fit me, but that cup didn't. So with the classic bra method, you take your, I got my notes, you take your high bust, your full bust, and you separate them, or I'm sorry, you subtract them from one another, and the number that you get, that gives you your cup size, but it gives you the cup size in the classic bra sizing chart. So I just went through my own little iterations of trying to figure out, okay, based on the Ingrid bra size chart, what would that be? The first one that I did, this was me converting to what I thought was my size in the Ingrid bra based on the classic bra sizing method that I just talked about, and it came out to 7.5 size. And yes, with the 36 band, and with the cup is, then that gave me, and the cup is the 7.25, so that was the difference with that band of the 36. And so that is this bra. And so when I was going through it, I was like, oh yes, this looks big enough, this looks perfect, this looks great. And guys, it was too big. It was too big. The cup, it's too big. And so, but it's so freaking comfortable. I was like, do I just use this as my house bra then? Because you know, it's my breasts just aren't lifted, and my girls are big, y'all. The girls are big, and so I was like, they just not up, but they're comfortably hanging, let's just say that. So I don't know yet, because I can easily reuse these findings, and so I don't know. One of the things you'll notice in the sew along I change is, if you can tell for the Ingrid, the foam that you put on the straps, which I absolutely love, that makes wearing this bra so comfortable. If you are heavy chested, and when I say heavy, I don't mean just, you know, large breasted. I'm talking about your breasts are heavy. Mine, these suckers are heavy. It's nice to have some padding across the shoulder, so you know, you're not having that digging in and that type thing. So it is so comfortable. But what I didn't like about it is that it's exposed. You can see it, and I don't like that look. But this is the second one that I did, just too big. Haven't decided, like I said, if I'm going to just leave it as a wear around the house type, just laying around type bra, or what, because it's beautiful, finished off nicely and everything. So I went back to the drawing board and said, okay, what I did was put this on and kind of pinch it in areas to see where, you know, it needed to be fixed, because obviously it wasn't lifting the girls up. So I was thinking, oh, okay, I might have to play with the straps a little bit, but this cup is just too big. And so I said, okay, I am, based on where I was pinching it, and again, you guys, I don't have a hard and fast for you on how to figure out your size. You really will have to just play with this to figure it out, honestly. And so I figured, let me go down to, based on the amount I was pinching out and how everything was moving for the material on me, I went down to a 6.75. And so that's what this one is, the final one, which you'll see in the sew along is. And she fits. She fits. The only thing you will not see that only thing I will have to do, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, I'll edit it in the video if I don't. I will have to take an inch out of the straps though. And so, but that's it. Sorry about that, my camera cut off. I absolutely love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. This is it. And I did do the final in duoplex. This one was done in an athletic knit, but it's a real sturdy athletic knit, almost like a really sturdy ponte, but it's activewear knit. So I did my muslin, and that's what I suggest. If you, especially first time making, use something like this, a very sturdy active wear knit. Another bra I did, this was a classic bra. This was another tester that I did. This is made out of a cotton sateen, but it has a little bit of stretch in it. And so use stuff like that to kind of play with, understand how pieces and stuff are going together and everything before you use your more bra making supplies, such as your sheer fabrics, your duoplex, different things of that nature. And duoplex and findings and all that stuff, like I said, the shops I link down below have all of that. And so I love it. One thing, I don't know, let me just mention this. After the fact, I noticed once I finished the bra, this piece was turned up and I had sewed it in by accident. So you might see that in the sew along, but as you can tell, I fixed that. But I absolutely love it. Now here's one of the things that I did change that you will pay attention to in the video is I enclosed my strap, so the foam is not showing on this bra at all. And oh, when I say this material, because this is the duoplex, actual bra making duoplex, It's just so soft, and with that foam in there, oh, it almost feels like, and this is what I'm going for bras. Even when I bought bras, I don't want to feel like I have on a bra because my chest is heavy. I mean, I know I have on a bra, but you all know what I mean, where it just feels good and comfortable, and oh yes. So that means I can make more bras now, because now I did have to go, like I said, go down. I did end up going down to 6.75 with that 36 band, and so, but I did, because I used the combination of the BCD method. I only use the BCD method for my band. That's it. Use the outcome, because the first time I made the Ingrid, the band fit me perfectly, and so I knew I didn't have to mess with that. But it's the cups, because your girl got a lot going on, and these cups need to get worked out. And so I absolutely love it. I finished my Ingrid with the band finish. There are other options which I actually want to try. There is the option for a zipper front closure, which I would absolutely love to try for a sports bra. And then there's the hook and eye closure, and that kind of reminds me, if you all are familiar with, if you ever watched The Biggest Loser, when they first that show first came out, I did. But the bras the ladies were working out in were nail bras, ENELL. Those are some expensive bras, because I did buy a couple and they lasted for a long time. But they had the hook and eye closure in the front, and I did like that. And so I was like, okay, that's why I bought the Ingrid bra, because it does have that hook and eye closure option that you can do in the front. So I super duper like that. So yeah, I think that is all I have, everybody. I do want to give a special shout out to one of my subscribers, Heidi. Heidi lives in Norway. So hey Heidi, I want to give Heidi a shout out, because Heidi has been so super wonderful. She makes bras as well. She doesn't have a YouTube video or anything like that, but she makes bras as well, and we have been communicating for months actually about the Ingrid. And then she introduced me to another pattern company. It's a German company. It is called the Pia, what is it, Pia Comfort Bra, and yeah, I'll pop a picture here, and she's made that as well. And so we were going back and forth in email about that, and she I won't go into all the details and everything like that. She's not affiliated with this German bra company at all. And so what she offered to do, which I thought was amazing, was me to send her my measurements, and she was going to make the bra, the Pia, to see how I liked it in comparison to the Ingrid, and send it to me. And you guys, she did. She said, this is back in the summertime, so this has been a while, but she did. This is the Pia. This is the Pia. And it is absolutely, the construction on this is, I mean, she is the bomb with the, and this is also enclosed foam too, which I like. This fits beautifully, but it's too small. I can't fit it yet. So when I say it fits beautifully, the band, the what I did was, and right now I have it like this just in case I need to adjust it, because the straps aren't adjustable. So I just sewed, she left the strap undone, so I can sew it at a seam that was comfortable for me. So I just sewed it at a 1/4 inch for now. I may unpick that, and it's just basic clothes, just to see how it would fit on me. But the cups are too small, so it is too small. So it's not that maybe in about 20 pounds I'll probably be able to fit this here, but the construction of it and the look of it, when I was looking at this in comparison to the Ingrid, it has a lot of similar features, but I think for me the construction seems a little bit might be a little bit easier. But again, and I believe she did, it does come in an English version, and so, but the thing is, the seams are enclosed on the inside. Everything is, this is fully lined, which I thought was nice too. It feels really good lined. And so So yeah, I absolutely love this. This was just so super nice. I love all my subscribers, and I don't take anything like this for granted when someone does that, something like that for me. But that is one I will think about the sizing. I want to say right now doesn't necessarily come in my size, but I know you can do sister sizing. Y'all know I don't like grading up patterns, so I probably won't do that. I'm pretty sure I won't, but I'm still interested in getting the pattern because I do like the style lines of it and everything. And so I'm still going to get the pattern, but not sure how long. I know Heidi mentioned the shipping is best if you're going to purchase from this company. You purchase multiples or something, because the shipping could be a little pricey, and then of course it's going to take some time because where it's coming from. But so yeah, that is another bra pattern. And then still I might still want to try maybe one or two other bra patterns, but again, I'm looking at stuff that I don't like deep cut stuff. So the special occasion like the daisy, that's not something I will wear every day. That is just not, that's not comfortable for me to wear every day. I'm looking to pick the girls up, you know, not look unibooby, and be able to play around with that. That's why this style, I like this style. I really do. So I can see myself playing with that, doing different things with this here front piece, lace maybe, you know, different stuff, because there's 3 different cut pieces. I can do lace on certain for the top or something like that. I can really play around with it. So yeah, I think those are all my notes that I have and I wanted to share with you guys. Again, thank you so much, Heidi, for your kindness and generosity, and thank you everybody else for your patience as I finally got this Ingrid sew along pattern together. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. Leave them down in the comment section below. Don't forget to thumbs up this video for the sew along. And yeah, everybody, that is it. I am just looking at my notes. Yep, that is it. Based on my notes, that is it. But thank you everybody again for your patience. Please allow yourself some grace with making a bra, especially if it's your first time. Do not get mad at yourself if things turn out a little wonky. Just keep trying, keep at it until you can get it the way you like it. So that is it, everybody. Enjoy the sew along, and we will see you on Wednesday. Bye. Okay, let's jump right in. Let's get started. So we are going to go ahead and cut out our pattern pieces. So you will notice in the pattern that there are 9 total pieces that you will need. The upper cup, the outer lower cup, the inner lower cup, side panel, underbust, strap, front piece, back band. Now, do pay attention to the layout within the pattern. One of the things to keep in mind for bra making, at least with the, I can say this, at least for the pinup girls bra, you will see what's mentioned in here, dogs, D-O-G-S. That means the greatest amount of stretch. So let me just show you. And as I have said already, you do want to first I highly suggest watching this sew along all the way from from beginning to end. I also highly suggest using muslin fabric, and I think I talked about that already. But like a very sturdy ponte knit. This is an athletic knit that's pretty sturdy. Use that first. That way you can reuse your findings for the real thing. And if you have to make multiple muslins first, just so you can understand and get comfortable with the construction process, do that. Do not be afraid to do that. Once you've gotten comfortable with the construction process, then you can use your duoplex, which is what I will be using for the sew along. I have it in the color black and brown at the moment. However, most of my findings and things match the black, so I will be sewing in black. But this is duoplex. What you'll notice with duoplex is it's sturdy. It does have a little bit of stretch, not a ton. But it does have a little bit of stretch. You will notice the sheen on it. Hopefully you can see the sheen. This is actually the wrong side of the fabric. For duoplex on the right side, and again, pull out a bra so it makes a little bit more sense to you. This is the shiny side. So you notice there is the shiny side, and then there's the dull side. So go ahead and pull out your fabric, lay it out. You will notice with bra making, you don't need a lot of fabric. However, you still want to be a little strategic when cutting it out, because if you decide to use what's left over for color blocking and other bra patterns and things like that, you know you have some pretty good pieces. So I have laid out my pieces as seen on the diagram. Not exactly, because again, I'm trying to preserve as much of the fabric, so I did push some of the pattern pieces together, but I am going to flip the camera over so you can at least see an overview of how I've laid my pattern pieces out and how I'm cutting it out. So as you can tell, I have all my pattern pieces, the pieces that need the actual fabric. So you're using either your lace, if this is multiple times you've made this, or some kind of sheer cup lining. Again, all of that is also mentioned in the pattern, but this is how I have my pieces laid out. The one thing I will say, and I will show in the sew along, I'm doing this for the first time, we'll see how it works. Instead of cutting out, the strap fabric calls just for 2 pieces. I want you to cut out 4, because if you've seen in the start of the video, the original pattern, the finished bra, that foam is exposed, and I'd rather it not be exposed. So go ahead and cut out 4 pieces of that, and when we get to it, I'll show you how we will put it together. Very, very easy. But the pattern pieces, as you can tell, pattern pieces, even for garment making, have at least some type of line drawn on it to let you know which way that pattern piece should be laid. So for bra making, these pattern pieces are marked to be laid in the direction of the greatest amount of stretch. So from selvage to selvage, for this duoplex, that has the greatest amount of stretch. So I'm laying the pattern piece in that way. So all of the pattern pieces, you'll notice, however the arrows are pointing, that's how the piece is laid out. You will notice for this pattern piece is laid on an angle, and that is because the way the arrows, the grain line is showing on there. So I just wanted to point that out. So I did want to make sure and point that out, and also encourage, I believe I've already mentioned this, but I'll say it again, cut out your pattern pieces on a cutting mat. And if you have a rotary cutter, this is a size 18 millimeter rotary cutter. You might find that very easy to use. It just depends. Some of these pattern pieces, you'll notice there's these little notches that you'll have to cut out little areas. Using something this small may be more beneficial than using your full size rotary cutter. However, you can still use your full-size rotary cutter, and maybe for those little notch areas, just use your scissors to cut that out. And so the other thing I highly suggest is, once you cut, there are areas on here that are marked on the pattern AM, and it also says it in the pattern as well. Mark your notches for garment making, for bag making, it really doesn't matter, but for bra making, make sure you clearly mark your notches. Use chalk, use a roller marker. Let me show you. Okay, so I went and grabbed, there's a couple different tools you can use, whatever's easier. I have the chalk marker that rolls and marks. I'll use that. It's just my mood, really, but just make sure you mark everything. And if you cut the notch, cut it ever so slightly, and also mark where you cut, just in case the little cut that you make, the notch clip that you make, you overlook it or miss it or something like that, or forget where it is because it's not that deep like it is on garments, just mark it also, just to make life easier for you to find that notch again. Or use, if this is a Fons and Porter marking pencil. So whatever tool that works best for you, use that. Because I'm using black, obviously I am going to use the white marking tools. If you're using lighter color fabric, white or something like that, again, be careful with the marking tool that you use, that it doesn't leave a stain on it. But use a different color piece of chalk or something like that, just so you know where you're marking your pieces are. So go ahead, cut out all of your fabric, your pattern pieces. Your power net is, I had some in my stash. Your power net is much more sturdier than say power mesh or just mesh, because that is really flexible. When you use power net, is much more sturdier. It still had, obviously you can see through it and everything, but it's much more sturdier. And also, if you feel that maybe, and this is where testing and playing with this comes into effect, you might find for the because your back band needs, that's the piece that needs the power net, you may find one layer of power net is not good enough for you and you want a little bit more structure there, hold things in a little bit more. Go ahead and cut out two and just sew the two pieces together so they're one, and then so double up. So, and it also says it in the pattern, cut 2 or 4 for extra support. So again, play with it, give yourself some grace, and just yeah, don't beat yourself up about it if the first time through it just doesn't feel supportive enough or something like that. You can adjust, but let's just get through sewing this first to get you comfortable. And I'll show you the findings that I'm using as it's called for in the pattern as we're going through sewing this together, instead of showing you right now, because it might just be confusing that way for bras. At least it was for me. So I'll just show it to you as we get to those steps. So go ahead, go cut out all of your pattern pieces out of your power net, out of your duoplex, or if you are doing a muslin or something like that, go ahead, cut out all of your pieces. And of course your foam for your strap, which I have both black and tan color foam. I'll show you the difference. So it is totally up to you which foam that you use. The bra I just showed you is just a light beige color foam, and see how I said that foam is exposed. I want that enclosed. I also have, and it's the same thickness, I really like it, and this is all for bra making or for swimsuit cups, and so it's really nice. So I have black and I have the tan. For the purposes of the sew along, so you can see a little bit better, I'm just going to use the tan instead. So yeah, go ahead, cut out all of your pattern pieces. Remember, for your strap, the fabric, cut out 4 pieces, because we're going to enclose that foam so that foam is not showing. So that is it. Let's head on over to the sewing machine and get to sewing. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Have all your pattern pieces ready. The first pattern piece we're going to start with is that power net that you needed to cut out 4 pieces. Is actually the front is labeled the front. And so let's go ahead and grab those pieces. So you should have 4, right? And 2 will be sewn, each will be sewn together around the entire perimeter. The pattern calls just to baste it together. I am going to clip my piece together first and show you what that looks like, and then we'll go ahead and baste it together. Remember that the seam allowance for the pattern calls for a 1/4 inch seam allowance for the entire pattern, unless it's otherwise stated, and I will mention that as we go through putting the bra together. But this is the front power net piece that we will be putting together, and let me show you quickly what that piece looks like. So this is what the piece looks like. So you should have cut out 4 pieces of this, put 2 of them together, clip them, and what you're going to do is baste 1/4 of an inch all the way around to make it one solid piece. And to also help you in the process, what I've decided to do throughout this sew along, because I know, at least for me, bra making can be confusing. It was for me. I am going to show you as we go, get to certain sections within the sew along, what we are sewing. So this is the bra I showed you. So the piece we are sewing is, this is the entire bra, as you can tell. So the piece we are sewing is this section right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and sew those pieces together, and I will show you what that looks like when it's done, and then we will be moving on to our next step. Okay, so this is what your piece looked like. You should have 2 of these, but it's all basted together. Next, you want to go ahead and grab your seam stabilizer. This here is, you can use tricot stabilizer as well. I will show you a close-up of what this is. It has no stretch in it, which is the purpose of it. So let me show you a close-up, and I'll tell you where you will be applying it. Okay, so this is the stabilizer. What it just looks like is some very, very, very sturdy paper. But it's not paper. And as you can see, it is quite sturdy, almost like a shoestring material, but is very, very sturdy. And so if you received a pattern bra kit, all of this would have been in there if you got this particular kit. And so what you're going to do, the long piece of the pattern piece, you're just going to sew this onto that piece, and what you're doing is you're just stabilizing that edge. So let me turn this around so you can see exactly what it, because you're going to do this to both pattern pieces. So as you can tell, this is the stabilizer piece, and this is 1/4 inch thick, and all you're doing is laying it. Remember, the pattern piece goes this way, so you're laying it across that top edge, and you're just sewing this onto that edge. And what you're doing is just stabilizing that piece, because obviously this has stretch to it. But go ahead and sew. Hopefully you can see this with this lighting. Sorry about the lighting. Go ahead and sew that down to that edge, and then I will show you what that looks like once it's all done. Okay, so here are your pieces. They're done. As you can tell, I have my stabilizer sewn on each edge there. As you can see, make sure you're doing the opposite. I have sewn it where I've put the stabilizer on the same side of both pieces before, but go ahead and make sure that you have sewn them on the right side. As you can tell, I have done that here. So what we're going to do now is put these pieces off to the side, and we are now going to grab our side panel piece, and we will be doing the exact same thing. Again, it's 1/4 inch seam allowance. Right now you're still sewing at 2.5 millimeter stitch length, but go ahead and grab your side panel piece. Okay, now that you have your side panel piece, what you're going to do is stabilize this area here, and this is known as the power bar, and you will be adding the same stay tape that you just used in the front panel piece. You'll use that along this curve for both sides. So remember, make sure you're doing the right size. Lay your pattern pieces out if that helps you. So you will stabilize this side and you will stabilize this side. And once that is done, you will set these pieces off to the side. Okay, so now that you have that done, as you can tell, I have my I know it's black, sorry about that, but you can see the stabilizer on those pieces. Go ahead, set these pieces to the side. You do not need them right now. And go ahead and grab your outer lower cup and your inner lower cup pieces. So this is the shape of your pieces. So you have your inner lower cup and you have your outer lower cup. So what you're going to be doing is combining these together. You're going to match along the curved seam. So here's the curved seam here. A to B at the top. If you marked everything, you should have marked everything on your pattern if you traced it out. At the top is A, at the bottom is B. At the top of the inner lower cup is A, at the bottom is B. What you're doing is putting those two pieces together. And yes, you will have to, I'm just going to set this to the side. So I set to the side, there's obviously two pieces. So what you want to do is put these pieces together, right? Right sides together. So remember, this is A, this is B, this is A, this is B. And all you're doing is putting these pieces together to make them one. Grab your wonder clips and go ahead and clip that together. And go ahead and grab your second set. And you're doing the exact same thing. You're bringing those pieces together just like that and clip them. So as you can see here, the pieces are clipped together. And now what we're going to do is, and you're making sure there's this on this pattern piece C, that pattern piece C is on the edge. You marked it with the dot here. So if I were to put this pattern piece over it, that's how it would look. So hopefully that makes sense. But again, you matched up the A and B, and what you're going to do is go ahead and sew from the top all the way around, from the top all the way around at 1/4 inch seam allowance. Once you are done, you will be pressing the seam open and then top stitching. So once I have these sewn down, I will show you what it looks like after it's sewn, and then show you how you would just gently press it, because then you're going to top stitch the outside. And you are using a regular straight stitch here, 2.5 millimeter stitch length. Start, back stitch at the start and end. Okay, now that you have it sewn together, once you open it up, it should be shaped like this. And all you're gonna do, if you're a sewer, you know that you will use a pressing ham to put this, or if you have a tool, I forget what it's called, but there are tools that you can use, or ball up a towel. If you don't have a tool, you can really ball up a towel as well, because what you're trying to do is press open that seam all the way. So I will show you what I am speaking of by going over to my pressing stand here, and I'll show you what that looks like over a tailor's ham that I have. So here's the piece here. As you can tell, I have it, and again, I know it's black, it might be hard to see, but essentially it's wrong side up. And what you're going to do is, you can use your finger to kind of press open the seam. What you're trying to do is have that seam lay flat, and you're going to do that all the way across. And it can be a little tricky to do, so don't worry about it. It's not, using Duoplex, it's not going to be a perfect press. If you were using maybe a different type of material, it might lay just a little bit flatter when you press, but you're just gently, and this is the tailor's ham that I'm using, that I have in my tools, and you're just gently pressing open that seam. And just go slow, because it's only a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so it's not like it's a lot of seam that you have to press open. And go ahead and do that for both pieces that you just sewn together. So as you can tell here, this is how it presses open. So that's how it looks after it is pressed open. As you can tell, it's not a lot of seam allowance, so it is a little tricky. But what you're going to do is take it over to the machine, and you're just going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch from this middle seam on both sides, all the way down on both pattern pieces. So the both two pieces you just combined, you are going to flip it over, and what you're doing, you will be catching, as you can see that's open, you'll catch all of that, and it will lay flat on the inside. And when you do a top stitch, it is a 3.54 stitch length for both sides that you will go ahead and sew down. And go ahead and do that for both pieces, and I'll show you what it looks like once it's done. Okay, so once you have that done, this is what it will look like. You would have top stitch on both sides of that seam, and this is what it looks like underneath. Now, if I were you, because I've done this, go ahead and sew this wrong side up, so you know that for sure you are catching that seam. And this is what it will look like once it's all done. So now you want to go ahead and grab the upper cup, because now this is now going to be known as the lower cup piece. So grab your upper cup piece, and then we will put it all together. Okay, this is your upper cup piece. This is how the piece looks, like a big triangle with a curve at the bottom. You will notice the top has that little notch that you would have had to cut out that little area. It is labeled E. Then over here you have a notch that was labeled F. And so what you're going to do is the piece that you just sewn together, you are now going to attach that piece. Now the key is, and I'll show you this because it is a little hard to see in black. So if this is how the piece looked, when you attach it to the lower, what is now the lower cup piece, this pointed area, once it's attached, has to be at the top. So when you're attaching it, obviously that cutout piece is at the bottom, and what you're doing is clipping that curved edge of your upper cup to the curved edge of the lower cup of your pattern piece you just sewn together. So this is how it will look once it's together. Obviously both curved ends, and you will clip all the way around and then sew that at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And once it's done, I will show you what it looks like. Okay, now that you have that sewn, here's that top part. Like I said, once you flip it up, that corner piece should be at the top. And this is what it is looking like. A little floppy right now. But the same thing you did for the lower cup, the same thing you did for the lower cup where you top stitch on both sides of the seam 1/8 of an inch, you're going to do the exact same thing to the piece you just combined. Again, you can always flip it over and sew it from the wrong side, and just press that seam open and then top stitch just as you did for this seam. And then once that is done, I'll show you what that looks like, and then we will be adding our bottom band. Okay, so we just put the upper cup, which is this part, and this is the lower cup. It looks a little funny like this, but that little corner up at the top, let me make sure you see this. That should be at the top. That should now be at the top. And for reference, in our finished bra, just a visual, this is our completely finished bra. What you just sewn is the cup, the entire cup. So that is the piece that we have now put together. Now what I want you to go ahead and grab is your underbust piece. So this is your underbust piece. Remember, it's the curve that goes like this. And guess what? That piece that you just sewn, that piece you just sewn, the underbust is now going to get attached to the bottom there. I will show you what that looks like as we put that together. So this is your cup, and you have your underbust piece. You see that it's shaped in a curve. It's in a curved shape. And if you were to put them together, you see how it just nests there. So what you want to do is make sure that you clip. What you can do is lay it out like this so you can visually see what you are doing, and you will notice there is a notch right there. That notch will line up with that lower cup seam. So if I flip this over, you're going to clip all the way around. So when you go ahead and clip, as I was showing you, there is a notch there. You want to go ahead and make sure that notch is lining up with that lower cup seam that you did earlier. And that way you know everything is lining up as it should. And you're going to continue to clip all the way around the curve. So now everything is clipped along the curve, as you can see. Go ahead and sew this entire curve on both pieces at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, still using a 2.5 inch stitch length. And then what you're going to do, because you're always, as you can see, top stitching after you've sewn, press the seam after you've put on the underbust, press that seam up, because then you're going to flip it over and once again top stitch. So if I have this fully attached, now you're going to top stitch all the way across the top. Again, 1/8 inch away, just like you've done these other seams. So it may look a little awkward as you're attaching it, but besides that notch that we talked about earlier, remember when you marked your points, the dot for the underbust piece should match up to the dot on your lower bust piece, and those were letter C, the letter C. So you know you're putting that piece on right. So this is C, this is C on the lower bust, and you go ahead and stitch that at a 1/4 inch seam allowance again, 2.5 millimeter length in your stitch length, and then we will press it up. So now your underbust piece is connected. Like so. Now you want to go ahead, flip it over, press this entire seam up all the way over the entire bottom, and then top stitch that seam in place all the way around, again 1/8 inch from the top. Okay, so now that we have our band attached, as you can tell, I have top stitched along that bottom. What you want to do is go ahead and grab your front panel piece. Remember these pieces that you have here, What we're going to do now is attach these pieces to the cup, the full cup. And what that looks like, again, for reference, if we had our finished bra, here are the cups we have sewn together. This is now the part where we are going to attach, if you can see my fingers through there, to the cup. And that's how it's going to look once it is attached. So go ahead and grab your front panel piece, your mesh piece, grab your pattern piece, and you are now going to attach the panel to this front piece. Okay, so now that you have your cup, here's your upper cup, your lower cup, and here is the underbust piece you just put on. So remember, for your upper cup piece, you had that notch on the side. This is how you know you are attaching this correctly. Remember this little notch at the top, this is E. This will go right here, and you will clip all the way down. And I will show you, if you remember that dot that you made here, it should match the dot on the opposite side of your fabric. And that's how you know you are meeting in the right spot. So if you see you can kind of see it there, right there, the little white dot, and this dot will meet up. So let's go ahead and clip all the way down. Okay, I have it all clipped. Don't worry if there's a little overhang, not a big deal. You can cut that off. As you can see, there's a little overhang here from the bottom. Not gonna worry about that. That'll all get cut off. And so what you want to do is go ahead and stitch 1/8 of an inch. You're doing this to both pieces. So if I have this right side up, once you stitch it together, it will open like this all the way down. And as I showed you on the bras, that's the section that we are now putting together. So I am going to go ahead and stitch both pieces together, and I will show you what it looks like once it is done. Okay, now that you have that attached, this is how it will look. So you're gonna top stitch again as you did all of these other seams, but this time push the seam towards the main part of the cup, not towards the lining, the mesh, but towards the cup. So when you top stitch it, the top stitching line will be on the actual cup piece as opposed to the mesh piece. So go ahead and do that. I'll show you what that looks like, and then we will move on to our next step. Okay, so now that that is attached, you have top stitched all the way down. You want to go ahead and grab your side panel piece, and I want to point out again this notch here. So this is your cups, the underbust, you've attached the panel. Now it's time to attach your side panel. So once you have your side panel piece, again, right sides together. As you can tell, this is where that tape was that we added earlier. But remember, we had our notch. If you've been marking, making sure to mark your notch, you know this is how this will be attached. So obviously this is the wrong side, this is the right side, and so those notches must line up, as you can see here. And you are going to clip all the way down. Okay, now that that is clipped, you will notice when you attached it at the top, you had that corner, that dip. And you remember that edge you have there, those are the pieces that will match up. So you will have a little bit of overhang there. That's supposed to be. So go ahead and stitch all the way around the entire side panel. Again, 2.5 millimeter stitch length, 1/4 inch seam allowance. already have that side panel on, so you have that little peak, that little part that's sticking out. That will be where the strap will get attached later, but here is the side piece. So as you have been doing all along, you are going to press that seam towards the side panel and then top stitch all the way down. And then once you do that, set this piece to the side and grab your strap pieces. Okay, grab your strap pieces, grab your foam. Now remember, in the beginning, this is where I'm deviating just slightly from the pattern because I want my foam to be fully enclosed instead of exposed. And so I've cut out 2 sets of the strap piece. So here's one set and here's a second set. So and again, the reason we're doing this is so you can't see the foam. And so what we are going to do is, with right side facing, you can't tell, I'm going to move the extra pieces out of the way. So take 2 of your pieces, wrong side facing up. The pattern calls for you to glue this down so you can stitch one in, but I'm not going to do that. You can if you find it a little tricky. I am just going to clip it together. And so clip one pad of the shoulder strap to one end, so like this. And what you want is to have the bottom of the padding 3/8 inch away from the edge. So if you use your seam gauge and just mark where 3/8 of an inch is, you know that that's where the foam should be sitting, which will put it slightly in, about 1/4 inch on this end. So get that lined up, put it about 1/4 inch from that end, and go ahead and clip all the way down. Okay, once it's all clipped together, you have one piece clipped together, do the exact same thing to the other piece, but make sure your foam is at the opposite end. So since both straps are facing the same direction, you have the foam at this end, put the foam on this end, and you're going to clip the same as you did with this piece. Okay, now that you have everything clipped together, you have one foam piece that is at this end and the other foam piece at the opposite end. The other piece that you did cut out, go ahead and put it right side up. So you're going to put this right on top, just like this, because now it's going to sandwich the entire strap in. And don't worry, these edges will get caught later on when we add our elastic, so you don't have to worry about exposed edges here. So go ahead and just lay this on top, reclip it. Same thing here, right side up, lay that on top, reclip it, and then zigzag stitch this end and zigzag stitch this end. You want to use a zigzag stitch width, say that 5 times fast, about 1.5, and your stitch length about 1.5, so like so. And go ahead and stitch on each end. Do that for both pieces. So as you can tell, they are stitched. It's kind of hard to see, I know, because it is in black, but if you were to open it up, here's the end that's stitched together. The foam is sandwiched in between for both pieces. So now we are going to sew the strap to the front of the bra, and we're going to keep the zigzag edge, which for me, just so you can see, this is the sewn edge, right? We want to keep the zigzag edge toward the neckline area of the bra, and we are making sure that we are catching the padding, because what we're doing is sewing this to the top of the neckline area. So let me grab that piece and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so now you have your bra piece. Remember, this is your center front, and that's your side, your bottom, and everything. Remember, you had this little peak at the top sticking out. That is where your strap is going to get attached. So we have, as you can tell, that zigzag edge there. That is what's going to get attached to the top. So that should fit perfectly here. As you can see, clip across the top, and then you are going to stitch across at a 1/4 inch seam allowance like we've been doing. And then, of course, when you turn it up, this is how it will look. And then you will go ahead and top stitch down 1 inch away from the seam. So again, this zigzag edge here, those pieces line up perfectly. You see that at the top. Go ahead and clip that together. Do that for both pieces. Stitch across, 1/4 inch seam allowance, flip it up, and then catch that seam and push the seam down. So when you do flip this up, make sure that seam is facing down. So when you top stitch, it will be on this side that you'll top stitch because you're catching that seam. So go ahead and complete that step, and then we will move on to the next part. Okay, so there you have it. You have your strap now connected to your bra. Here's the side panel, the front middle panel. Now go ahead and grab your fold over elastic. I will show you what that piece looks like and show you what we're going to do, because what we're going to do is attach it to this entire front neckline piece down to the edge, just to the center edge of the front panel. So let me go ahead and grab my fold over elastic and show you what we are doing. Okay, so here's your fold over elastic. This is 5/8 inch width, and so this is how it looks. It's stretchy. And so what the instructions have you to do is kind of press this in half. It's almost like if you have done bias binding before on garments, or think of it if you've done quilting, and say this is the seam, and I'll get ready to show you on the actual garment. You're just going to lay that in the center and fold it over and completely catch it all the way down. You're going to do that on this piece. So like I said, this was your front piece, remember, and you're adding, and this is why we weren't worried about this edge, because what you're doing is catching all of that seam. You're putting it right in the middle all the way down to the end. So what I'm going to do is clip this and then show you what it looks like after it has been fully clipped. Okay, it is all clipped, as you can see here. And so just for reference, for those my visual learners, this is the finished bra, right? This is what you are attaching, this piece right here, and you're doing it for both sides. So around this edge is where that elastic is. So when it's finished, that's where it will sit. So you are going to use a zigzag stitch. Again, the zigzag stitch, let me just look at my notes here. Your zigzag stitch should be about 2 millimeters for this section, and your stitch length should be about 2 millimeters as well. And so you'll start at the top and zigzag stitch all the way down till you get here. Now the pattern does call that you can again glue this in first to stabilize it. I find just clipping it together works for me, plus I don't want to use any glue to gum up my needle and have to worry about that throughout my process, but whatever is easier for you, go ahead and do that part. But I am going to go ahead and zigzag stitch this on, and again, do that for both pieces. You are doing good. Here is the front. We have our elastic, fold over elastic, sewn from the top all the way down to the bottom. Here's the center front, and we have done that for both pieces. It is coming together. All right, so now what I want you to do is grab your back band piece, and once we add this, so far as the bra pieces part, we will be done with that part. So go ahead and grab your back band pieces. Okay, now we have our back band piece. I'm going to take one piece off. This is how it looks flat. So I just want you to see that flat. And you notice one side is straight, the other side has this little curve piece. This is the back of the bra. This is the side that is being attached to the side panel of your bra. So if this is our bra, this is the wrong side. This is our center front. This is the wrong side. And that long side, straight side, and this side gets sewn together. So go ahead and clip this right sides together. Stitch at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then of course, as usual, turn your seam towards the side panel and give it a good top stitch. Okay, we have everything attached. We are getting close to the end. So now that you have top stitched, as you look over, you will notice that little curve piece is at the top. Make sure that is at the top, not at the bottom. But this is how it will look. So far, this is what we got going on. And now we want to grab our bottom band piece, because now we are going to attach that, and this will just get clipped off. If you have some hangover or something like that, do not worry about it. It will all get settled in the end. But this is what we are looking like at this point. Okay, now that you have your bottom band elastic, this is what mine looks like. This is 5/8 inch wide, and I just have mine on the continuous roll here, so I didn't measure. You will notice, let me see if I can zoom in here. So this is the elastic, this is the fuzzy side, as you can tell, and this is the right side. So the fuzzy side should be facing up. And what you are going to do is take your pattern piece, remember this is the front, so this is the bottom now of the bra. You're going to attach the right side, so the fuzzy side should be facing up with the picots facing towards the bra. So as you can tell, that's the fuzzy side, that's the right side. So just go ahead and match this up, and like I said, you're gonna cut that off, so do not worry that if you have some overhang. So match this up, and what we're going to do is clip all the way down, and you are going to use a 2.5 millimeter stitch length as well as stitch width. You want your stitch width, your zigzag, you're doing a zigzag here. So what you're going to do is begin stitching. I want to make sure you see this. So you're going to stitch close to the picot. That edge, the decorative edge, we'll just call that the decorative edge. So you are going to do a zigzag stitch close to this edge all the way down to the end. So you will attach your elastic all the way down the bottom, all the way to the end, and then you will stitch it starting at the top all the way towards the end, because what you will do is flip this over and it'll just be just that little bit showing, and then you will do it again on the top. But let's first go ahead and get this side done. Once this is all clipped together and zigzag stitched, I'll show you what that looks like once it's finished. Okay, this has now been attached all the way at the bottom with a zigzag stitch. So now what you want to do is turn this over, and you can use a clip if you so choose. Clip it down. What you're going to do now is use what is called a lightning bolt stitch, and as you can see through there, you're going to sew close to this edge the lightning bolt stitch. I'll show you what that stitch looks like on my machine. But as you go down, and again, you can clip this in place just to keep it from puckering. So I have clipped mine into place. So when you do this lightning bolt stitch, because you are, as you can see through there, you are stitching close to that edge, and you'll feel it and see it as you're stitching. But be sure as you're stitching you do not catch the cup. So here's the bottom cup, that seam for the bottom cup. Just make sure you're not pulling this so far that it gets caught up in here anywhere. So you don't want it getting caught in this seam. So it'll be down here, and you'll do that lightning bolt stitch, and it will be at a 4.5 millimeter wide stitch width and a 1.5 to 2 millimeter stitch length. Let me show you what the lightning bolt stitch looks like on my machine. So on my machine, I have my stitch width set to about 4.5 and my stitch length to 2. And if you can see here, this is the lightning bolt stitch. So you see it's it's zigzag, but it kind of skips stitches. And so this is the lightning bolt stitch on my machine. Yours can look different. If you don't have this, just use the regular zigzag stitch. That will be fine. But I am using this stitch here. Okay, it is done. I like that stitch that I use on my machine. It just looks pretty to me. So this is what it will look like once you have turned under. And if you can tell, see how the edge of the bottom band elastic sticks out there? Nice little decorative right at the bottom. So now we are definitely getting close to the end. We are now going to attach elastic. Remember, we attached elastic to the front piece. Now we are going to attach elastic, and again, do not worry about stuff like this where it's hanging over. It will get caught in the end. But as you can tell, your foam is completely caught in. And so what you are now going to do, you have a couple options. You can use a decorative elastic, or you can use the same type of elastic that you used on this side. So let me show you your couple options. So I've already shown you the other elastic that I used on the front. You also have an option. This is a 3/8 inch soft plush picot elastic, where again, if you do decide to use this, it's just how we did with the bottom band. Once you flip it up after it's been sewn into place, you'll have just that little bit peeking out all the way down, all the way around. However, I do not have, I have run out of black picot elastic like this. So I am just going to use the same elastic I used on this side, and again, we are encasing all of that in. If you do have the picot, you'll notice you attach it the same way you did the bottom band elastic we just did. That fuzzy side is up. You would attach it here, clip it all the way around, and then once you fold it over, it's going to catch all of that just as it did at the bottom. And then you can trim all that up. If you have excess, do not worry about it. You can always trim it up, but it will peek out just like that. And so again, you have these two pieces here. So I am not going to use this because I don't have a color I would like to use, and I don't want to use that. And so what I am going to do is go ahead, you see this is encased in. I am going to actually trim this down ever so slightly, because I want my elastic to go right around that foam. So if I were to fold this, I want that elastic to go right around this area, all the way around, and I'll clean that up at the top. But that is what I am going to do. Attach my elastic all the way down, and we're going all the way around, all the way to the very end. And so when you get to the end, as you can tell, there's that dip. You're only going to the end here. So once I get my elastic clipped on here, I will show you what that looks like, and then I will do the same thing where I will do the same 2.5 millimeter wide, 2 millimeter stitch length zigzag stitch on this side, and I will do that for both pieces. I did want to pop in and say, remember where I had a little bit of that overhang here, and I said that can get cut off in the end. If you have duckbill scissors, which look like a duck's bill, you can use that to cut that out. And so as you can tell, I'm just going to ever so slightly. It's nice to have these on hand because you can really get right down to some overhang that's a little harder to get. And so that is all clipped off. Okay, we are almost there. So whichever method you used, if you decided to use the picot elastic, as we did the bottom down here where you have the little ridges sticking out at the bottom, decorative, if you decide to do that, that's fine. If you decide to do the fold over elastic like I did here, when you get around the armhole, which is around this area, make sure whichever method you're using, you're slightly stretching that elastic, because this is the part that's going up under the arm. So you're slightly just stretching that underneath. So that's why you see this gathered. So this area is where you want to just slightly stretch the elastic ever so gently, because that's the part that's going to be hugging underneath your arm. And I wanted to show you those two ends. I did just clip off. Again, you can do that as well if you have a little overhang, no big deal. As you continue to do bras, as I am, I'm not, this is probably my 6th or 7th bra I've ever made, but as you continue to do them, you get better at them and get to add little features and whatnot to them. And so if you have little pieces like that, don't worry about it. It's all good. It's going to come together beautifully. Now we are going to go ahead and grab our strap pieces, the adjusters and the strap and the elastic. And so I am going to insert a clip here on how to put the adjuster strap together. Okay, so I am going to show you how to do the adjustable strap. And so what I've done is, this is not the color or the ones I'm using on the bra in the video, but I thought it would be easier to show you with a lighter color strap elastic, and the this is the ring and this is the slider. So and these are slightly larger. Remember, the size of your ring and your slider needs to be based on the size of your strap. And so I'm just using this for demonstration purposes. So the first thing that you are going to want to do is grab everything that you'll need, and remember, you'll do this for both pieces. So the first thing that you want to do is go ahead and grab your strap elastic and push the strap elastic up and through and over the center bar. So essentially you take it and go up this way and go back down like this. And so it's gonna look a little bit like a belt buckle, something of that nature. Now fold it back on itself, and then you're going to stitch it in place. So you're going to go like this, fold it back on itself, and your strap for this bra needs to be, you need two 10-inch, mine measured 10 inches, so you need two strap elastic. So go ahead, fold it back on itself, and then you are going to stitch it right down here, so obviously you are catching the back. Okay, so now that you have done that, forgive my wonky stitching, but anyway, so now that you have done that, go ahead, the other end of your strap elastic, you are going to feed the loose end through the ring and back up. So here's how it's looking, right? So you're going to feed this through the ring and then back up and through and over the slider. So turn it gently. So now you're turning it, and then you want to feed it back through, up, over the slider, like such. And there you have it. So that's where your adjustment will come from. Obviously, for demonstration purposes, this is not the width. I will use a thicker strap elastic, but this is in the other end of the bra top will go through this ring. But that is it. That is it. Hope this helped. Okay, so now this is the back of your bra. Remember that little dipped curve you had here? Well, you're going to take now your assembled strap piece, and mine is repurposed, but I just took off another bra to use. So what you're going to do is just attach it only along that little curve piece. So start at the bottom and just clip it into place. So as you have clipped it into place, you will notice there's this short end here. This is the part that will get enclosed into the hook and eyes. But this is, so once it's attached, it looks like this. And so how you're going to sew this is quite easy. You can go ahead and use a straight stitch or a slight zigzag stitch to go ahead and attach this to the back. So I'm going to lay this flat so you can kind of see. So this is that straight edge. This is the curve. Go ahead and start from this end and zigzag stitch about, the instructions doesn't necessarily say, it says to use another lightning stitch, but that's a different stitch on your machine. Instead of the lightning bolt stitch that we use down here, it's just the lightning stitch. And so go ahead and do small zigzag stitch. I would say 1.5 millimeter wide width for your zigzag, and then your stitch length about 1.5, because what you're going to do is start from here at the bottom, so this straight edge, and you can turn this so it, you know, easier to handle, because that little part is on the curve. But start from here, zigzag stitch all the way up here, come across and go down the middle, not the edge, but go down the middle all the way back down to the end. So again, start here at the bottom, zigzag stitch all the way up till you get to that top right here, then come down the middle, zigzag stitch all the way down. Okay, now your strap is attached on both pieces. We're going to skip a step and then go back to the hook and eye, because that will be the last piece that we'll be adding. Go ahead and take both of your pattern pieces. So this is the right side. Everything is attached. Remember, here's your front panel piece. Let me back up just a little. Okay, so here's your front panel piece. Right side facing up. Take your second panel piece and put those right side facing. So go ahead and attach them like so. Clip all the way across. Okay, so you have them clipped all the way across. Go ahead and stitch all the way down at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. As usual, press that seam open and then top stitch on each side of the seam, as you've been doing all throughout the bra project. And then we will attach the hooks and eyes. So I'll let you see what that looks like once I've gone ahead and stitched the center down and then top stitched on both sides. All right, everybody, we are at the end. So you have just now sewn the center, these two center seams down. One of the things I did, because I do find with the mesh it's hard to kind of split it open and everything, I just pressed everything. Let me see if I can get that to zoom in. I just pressed everything to one side, stitched down that one side, and then went over on the other side and just top stitched. So it is top stitch, looks top stitched down from the both sides. So this is how we are looking from the front. We are now going to attach the hook and eye, which is the super easy easy breezy part. And then we'll go ahead, or you can do it now too, because what we're going to do is just slide our strap through here. And you can actually, let me just show you something really quick. Because this is my 3rd time making this, I pretty much know where I want, how long I would want my strap to go inside here. So what you can do is go ahead, run this in and do a basting stitch across. So after you've done your hook and eyes, you can try it on and see if you need to shorten this if you want. Again, if you're doing the test, don't, you know, again, that foam is enclosed, so now you don't see it. But yeah, you can do it a few different ways like that. But I know the length I like, and plus you still have the adjusters back here to adjust as well. So you can go ahead and sew that in. But yeah, let me turn the camera around and show you how we attach our hook and eyes, and then our bra will be done. Okay, this is our final step. So the bra is now, everything is joined at the front. I have my strap sewn in as I showed there, and I did do a 1.5 zigzag stitch, 1.5 stitch length all the way across. And I just do that too if in the future I need to adjust this for any reason. But I know, you know, I have the strap connectors here in the back as well. So this is the front, and so let's go ahead and turn it over to the back. And now this is right side up, and this is right side up. So when you have your hook and eye, so imagine your bra, how it goes on. You know that the hooks are going this way. As you can tell, the hooks are facing to the right. And when you attach it, it will go like this. So if I just go ahead and put these together, kind of hard to look through the screen here. Okay, so once you have attached it, so I just closed it just so you can kind of see what it's looking like on this end. So what you are going to do is sandwich this open piece. You open up your hook and eye, and mine was a continuous tape. So you open it up. Yours may come already. I'm only using 4, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will only go down as far as the 4th one. That's how much I need based on this, on my size, in the sizing here. So I'm just going to open that up, sandwich this in between like so, and as you can tell, that's 4. And then we're just going to stitch, straight stitch on this edge all the way down. First I'm going to cut this off because I know how much I need to use, and then we will do the same thing on the other side. Okay, I didn't show the sewing on camera because you really want to be careful. You want to make sure these hook and eyes, the hooks, are facing up. You don't want to sew this side down because obviously you can't see anything, and you don't want to ruin your machine and get the needle all caught up in there. But this is how it looks once it is sewn on that edge. As you can tell, it's all captured in. And so we are going to do the same thing on the other side with the actual hook, because again, of course, you're gonna go this way when you close it. So all right, time to do that part, and we will be done with our bra. And I did want to show, if you need to change to a zipper foot, change to a zipper foot, because this other side where the hooks go, remember we just folded. Let me show you again. It was opened up, we fold it in half to catch everything. And again, we want to make sure that our hooks are not getting caught up anywhere in our machine. So that's why I suggest, if you need to go ahead and switch to a zipper foot for this side, go ahead and do that. All right, everybody, the bra is done. As you can tell, I have my hook and eyes here, have everything closed up in the back. We are all done. Let me show you. Here's the front. Everything is here. All my straps are attached into my adjuster. Go ahead and try her on. And yeah, that is it, everybody. Please let me know how it went for you, if this helped at all, and definitely tag me, come back over to this video and let me know that you have put together your Pinup Girls Ingrid bra. All right, everybody, have a good one. Bye.